Today I'm going to look at 4 things that might be holding you back in creating YouTube videos today. Number 1, and probably the most common, is I don't have the right gear to start a YouTube channel. I don't have the right cameras, I don't have the right lighting, I don't have the right microphone. But here's the thing, not all YouTube content needs to be shot in a fancy YouTube studio. Yes, it's important to make sure that you're well lit in your videos and that the audio is as best as you can get it, but you don't need to invest in a massive YouTube studio in order to achieve that. Lighting can be just a matter of where you stand in the room. Stand in front of a well-lit window. It's exactly what I'm doing right now. Audio, if you can invest in a small microphone like the one I'm using now in order to improve the quality of your voice, then do that. If not, don't let that hold you back from creating content. Just record on your iPhone, just record on your GoPro. One thing that's absolutely crucial to realize is that your message is far more important than your surroundings. As you grow on YouTube, as you make more content, you'll eventually grow your repertoire of gear. You'll get a new camera, you'll get some more lights, you'll learn what best works for your type of content. But if not having that gear is preventing you from getting any content out, then you are completely overvaluing the importance of it. This of course does depend slightly on your niche. If you're doing hair and makeup tips, then doing it out of your badly lit garage might not be such a good idea. But think out of the box a bit, get some basic lighting, get a clean background, and you've probably got enough to start in any niche. At the very least, if you've got a message to get out there and you have a mobile phone, you have all the equipment you need. All the rest with the fancy YouTube studio with the funky background, that can all come later. Get your message out first, start building your audience, start building your community. Number 2, you don't have time. Not many people are fortunate enough to be able to quit their full-time jobs and start a YouTube channel with 0 subscribers. Anyone in the history of YouTube who has built a channel from scratch has had a lot of other stuff going on in their lives, mostly a day job. And it can seem pretty daunting at first, especially when you look at some of the more seasoned channels and the amount of time and prep it would take to emulate what they're doing. And this gets back to my previous point about gear, about a YouTube studio, about lighting. While you're small and you have limited amounts of time to make content, engineer it so you can get that content out, shot, edited and published quickly. So if you're finding you can't get content out because it takes you 3 hours to get your makeup on, to set up your lights, to position your camera, to get everything else all perfect before you even start shooting, then you're already fighting a losing battle. So try and focus on creating a system where if you've got an idea, if you've got a message that you want to get out, that you can quickly get a camera out, get that recorded, get that edited and get it published. Because only when you start creating that content and creating it consistently, will you start gaining subscribers, will you start gaining followers, and then you can start growing into something a little bit more nuanced. The key takeaway here is to keep your production small and your quality high. Find a system where you can create around the other things in your life. Number 3, very common one, confidence on camera. A shyness to put yourself out there in front of a camera. So here's the thing, nobody is born confident on camera. It's an acquired skill, like any other skill you acquire in life. Do you drive? Do you remember the first time that you went out on the road on your own in a car after passing your test? I bet you were petrified. I was. For me, one of my biggest hurdles, apart from getting on camera, was public speaking. I used to do a lot of engagements at conferences. And I thought watching the videos later, I came across pretty well for someone who hadn't done a lot of public speaking before. But that's not to say I wasn't absolutely bricking myself 2 minutes before I was announced on stage. As time goes on, that got easier, I got more comfortable doing it, and it's exactly the same with being on camera. If anything, it's worse being on camera because you don't have anybody to give you instant feedback. You don't have faces and eyes looking at you to know if you're engaging your audience at that moment. You're just looking at a lens. And that's not something that humans naturally are used to doing, and it takes a lot to learn the skill to do that confidently. I'm still learning it. But don't let that get in the way of you producing your content. You need to fight through that. And sometimes the biggest fear and the biggest barrier to confidence to being on camera is worrying about what people think. Worrying about what your family will think, what your friends will think, what randos on the internet will think. It's a mindset shift that I've been working through recently to stop caring about what other people think. Are they paying my mortgage? Are they putting my kid through school? No, I'm doing that. Who cares what they think? And I guarantee you that you're overestimating just the amount that people will care. People have a lot of stuff going on in their own lives. They really don't care about what you're saying into your camera. 4th and lastly is struggling to decide on a topic for your video. And this could be because you've narrowed down your niche far too granularly and now you're struggling to come up with decent ideas, or what will people be interested in, what should I talk about? And I would advise, especially for a brand new channel, is don't focus down too much on the niche right at the beginning. Let your audience tell you what works for them. I don't mean just post a bunch of random videos about stuff that has nothing to do with each other, but try and broaden your niche a bit to give you some room to experiment, to create. And when you start making content in that sort of wider niche, you'll start to see, as your audience grows, you'll start to see what works for them, what doesn't work for them, which videos get the most views, which gets the most interactions. And you'll learn over time to hone down into the types of videos and the sub-niche within your niche that the audience that you've built wants. Because at the end of the day, you're making videos for them, not for you. And making sort of minor niche pivots, if you like, is part of growing a channel. It's the same with this channel. It's in the content creation space. It's a fairly new channel. I don't know if it'll end up being more focused on production and technical matters, or on mindset, or on sort of the YouTube industry as a whole. So I'm making content all around this area, and as the channel grows, I'll see what my users are more interested in, and I'll see the feedback that I get, and I'll pivot accordingly. So that's 4 things that I think really holds a lot of people back from developing content for YouTube or for whatever platform that you're making videos for. If you're new to content creation and you're struggling with something that's not on this list, then please leave a comment below and we can totally dive into that. In the meantime, I hope you can overcome these barriers, start creating content, start building your communities, start building your audience, and get your message out there. Until next time.